Hello and welcome to Over Two Cans. My name is Sam Nash. This is Alexander Andrews. And today we're doing something different today. We are in a bottle shop. We're not in a brewery. We're not at home sitting opposite each other talking shit. We're in a brewery. A brewery! For fuck's sake.
We haven't even opened the beer yet.
So well. We are in a bottle shop and we are joined today by Stuart Anderson.
Hello.
Of Ghostwell Brixton. Stuart, why are we here? Tell everyone why we're here.
Because we sell the biggest range of best craft beers that you can get in the country.
How many are we talking?
500? 600?
500, yeah, we read that on the website.
It varies, but yeah.
That's the first tick on my notes, 500 beers.
Tick. Now somebody will definitely go through our Untapped now and correct me.
And actually,
something like that.
You have two stores.
We do, yeah.
So this is Brixton. We decided to film in Brixton because we wanted to keep the Uber bill down to get here. But your other one's in Putney.
It is, yeah. So we opened here first. We were here in December 2016. And then, yeah, things were going quite well. We were looking for another site and one became available in Putney. So, yeah, we managed to get open there August 2019. So 6 months before everything went downhill.
And we were talking off camera. Your claim to fame is this is the original bottle shop in the whole of Brixton.
Yeah, all of Brixton.
The original and best. We like to say.
Hopefully, still the
yeah,
best.
Yeah. And I kind of this is an old haunt of mine actually. I'll probably be coming here for about a year now. Yeah. After I worked out that this is a great stop off from my journey back from work home. So I've been here. We've been chatting for a while, Stuart.
We have.
And we wanted to get you on our show for a little bit.
Well, thanks for having me.
And you said next year. Do it next year. I'm too busy this year. Too busy with my 500 beers. But yeah, we are here and you've already stitched us up. What is this?
Hey, you're lucky that you've got the table beer out. The other option was an Imperial Stout.
Well, if it was in a can, it would have been better. You were very insistent about the bottle, so we went with it.
Alex would have had a problem with the Imperial Stout as well.
Yeah.
Because he's not the biggest stout fan. But
You've drawn me onto stouts over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You've forced me to drink a few, so I am enjoying them now.
There's a couple of good ones out there, for sure.
What did we have the other day? We had did we have that 10% beak one?
Donut Shop. Pressure Drop.
Oh yeah.
Have you?
I've tried a bit. Yeah. Yeah, we still got a couple of cans.
Of course he's got it. Of course he's got it. He's got 500 beers.
Pressure Drop's one way we'll have everything that they do.
Yeah,
when they do it.
That was actually, that beer was one of those beers where you're like, oh, donut and pastry and all of that jazz. Yeah. Is it going to taste like that? And it bloody well did. It was amazing.
Well, they did a collaboration with Amundsen, well, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago maybe. And I think they really sort of, because Amundsen are known for doing those sort of indulgent, decadent,
like
dessert sweet, desserty pastry stouts and stuff. So, I think, Pressure Drop took a lot of kind of learning the way that Amundsen do that sort of thing, and I've obviously sort of picked up what they want from that and decided to, refine it in their own way, I guess, and are now doing one or two more every now and again of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's tasty.
Very good. Right, shall we tuck in?
Yeah.
This is the record. This is the quickest time.
I can't believe that I'm saying let's tuck in.
We've ever got to the first beer. So, Stuart, if you can please introduce the Colonel, and if you could also crack it open with your bottle opener.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also give us a reason why, because, we're going to say it again, 500 beers in this shop. How many breweries? Quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. So
why the Colonel?
Tell
us.
Because it's classic.
Yeah.
They're stalwarts of, not just the London craft beer scene, but the craft beer scene in the UK generally. They are universally highly respected by not just beer drinkers, but the brewers. From you ask any brewery in the UK who does this this sort of stuff, to list their top three or whatever breweries, the Colonel is almost certainly going to be in pretty much all of them, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And the other reason is because I know the name of the show, but it is in bottles, and I don't think the Colonel will ever ever put beer into cans,
cans.
unless bottles somehow cease to exist.
But why?
And then they might just say, "Oh, well, we're out then."
That is true.
Do you think that is the Colonel being not stubborn, but do you think it's we put our beers in bottles, full stop?
Well, I mean, obviously, this is how everyone did it when they they started. Every brewery that is of a certain age or older, rather than going straight into cans, because there wasn't the canning technology in the canning side of things wasn't good enough at an affordable level for a small independent brewery to be able to afford it, basically. So canning just wasn't an option. Sorry,
do you want to crack open that one as well?
And a lot when we first opened back in 2016, the 90-ish% of what we'd stock, if not more, was in bottles. And we're still, us and businesses like us are referred to as bottle shops, but you go in and
it's a can shop, baby.
These are one of the very, very few breweries left that will do stuff in bottles at in this size, as opposed to some of the big sharing bottles and stuff like that.
But why do you think they haven't made that transition? Do you think it's just because
why bother?
Yeah.
I love it. The Colonel's attitude, at least in the way that they or the way that they're presented to the public generally, but people like me that work in this world and see the trends and transitions that come and go of everything, including format from bottle into can and so on, and size of can and all that sort of stuff. Their attitude, or at least I perceive their attitude to be, we don't care about all this. We just care about making good beer.
Yeah.
And that comes across in, we've always done it this way. That's what we're going to carry on doing, because it's about the beer inside it.
Yeah.
And the branding is so iconic and so simple. Like you look around and this stands out because it's so simple.
Yeah, no. It's funny you say that as well, because Alex and I actually both started drinking craft beer in 2016. So the year you opened this bottle shop. And of course it was that gateway kind of Beavertown. Beavertown was all the rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Then. It wasn't owned by Heineken.
Yep.
That was kind of our gateway into the craft beer world.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And obviously Colonel was one of those breweries which closely followed for us. And I used to have a massive problem with the Colonel and their branding. Talking about format, I hated it.
Because the other end of the spectrum is like the Beavertown stuff, which is really in your face.
Exactly, and we loved that. That's what drew us in a little bit, wasn't it? The artwork. We loved the artwork. We loved that it was out there, and when we picked up a can, and we'd be like, oh, we haven't seen that before on a gamma ray can or something. And I originally thought Colonel were lazy. I'll say it. I thought they were lazy. I didn't like their branding. And I was like, no, I'm not about this. I just don't like it. And then I learned how long they've been going for, and actually how much quality and TLC is put into their beers. It's incredible.
They just do very, very good beers without any of the the peripheral stuff, without any of the fluff. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get beers that have got loads of mad adjuncts in them. The most extreme it would get with them would be they do a raspberry stout once a year, which is really good. Obviously,
they're just more humble about it.
Humble's a good word. Yeah, no, absolutely, it's great. And I picked out the table beer because it's 2:00 on a Monday, and I've been on a stag do all afternoon. I questioned whether the next beer is a sensible strength to be getting out, and you were like, yes, absolutely.
Because I actually don't think we've had a table beer on the show before, Alex. So this is a first as well.
Well, this is the thing. It's really, especially here, when you're at a brewery, they might be a brewery that does a whole range of beers, but you've got a range of maybe 8 beers at any one time to be able to pick from. So you've got that level of choice when you're doing these sorts of things with breweries. But if you're talking to somebody that owns a shop like this, then I've got literally hundreds of things to pick out. So, when you said, what should I pick? Or asked me what I was going to pick, then I thought about it for a while. I could be like, I'll pick out, I don't know, Arpus or something, something from abroad that's quite, doing some stuff that's very good and a bit more, a bit unique in certain ways, or doing something that I really enjoy. And there's loads and loads of those. But at the end of the day, I thought I'd come back to, well, the Colonel is, was there right at the beginning of all this stuff. They started before I opened this place, and they've been there for the whole journey, and they haven't changed a bit.
No.
They just continue to put out great beer. And this one in particular, the table beer, is like, if I'm in a restaurant or a pizza place and that sort of thing in London, an independent business like that, I'm pretty sure that they'll have the table beer on the menu. And it's a go-to. It's relatively, in London, it's relatively widely available in those sorts of independent food places. And, obviously lots of bars and stuff will have a Colonel beer on tap and stuff. But this is just, it's great. It's got loads of flavour and it's under 4%. And that's kind of what I'm all about, having done this for, how many years we did this? 6.5 years?
Yeah.
Came into it and obviously did the usual thing, went full circle right through to like, there's all these IPAs, there's imperial stouts and sour beers and lambics and all the rest of it. And the thing that I keep coming back to is stuff like this.
Yeah.
And, really good lagers and that sort of thing.
Maybe we'll come back full circle at some point. Maybe we'll change the name.
I look at what interviews you're doing in 3 years' time. You're all just there drinking Augustina Hell.
We'll be called One Can, One Bottle. You know what I did
Which
think?
lager?
Yeah.
I did think that we have missed a trick with a question that we've never asked anyone.
Come on.
Do you prefer can or bottle? We've never asked anyone.
No, we haven't. Maybe Stuart could be our first one.
I don't care. It's the potentially controversial answer, because there was a time where canning was like I said before, it was a more expensive or extraordinarily expensive thing for a small independent brewery to be able to afford to do. That's now shifted because the technology's come on and so on. But it was a bit more unpredictable in terms of, you'd sometimes get batches that were getting oxidized in some of the cans, or there was a bit of re-fermentation, which may or may not have been to do with it being canned or the way it was canned or whatever. So because beer was always in bottle, people would say it's better from a bottle. But I think the technology with canning and cans generally has adjusted so that it's, if you poured 2 beers that were packaged at the same time 2 weeks ago, let's say, one in can, one in bottle, into a glass, you wouldn't know the difference.
No.
You really wouldn't. So it doesn't make a difference. For me, I guess as a business owner, I absolutely prefer cans because it doesn't smash on the floor.
That's what we like to hear.
As soon as it comes out of the fridge. And I can post them and not worry about them smashing.
It's funny you say that, because the last time I was in here, Daniel, he had a load of beers on the table and he was putting them in the fridges. It was after you popped in and dropped off your beers, he was putting them in, and 3 of the cans dropped on the floor. And as much as you're right, they don't smash or anything like that, the dents on these cans were crazy.
Well, this is a very hard floor. And I was warned about that when I put it in.
Yeah, he was cursing, and he was like, he picked them off the floor and he taken them to the back. And I was like, Daniel, hold on a sec. I will take them off your hands if you give me 50% off. And he did.
You're
I'll work for Daniel.
He didn't give me 50% off. I just said to him, don't charge me the cool kitchen, I'll drink them now.
You've just stitched him up to Stuart now. He's gonna get fired now.
No, but he was relieved. He was like, oh, you've taken the damaged stock off my hands.
Yeah.
You kind of were talking about these kind of beers, ABV wise.
Yeah.
This is your kind of go-to.
Yeah.
We were talking this morning about you're a bottle shop owner. Mm-hmm. You put out a weekly newsletter every week, and there's so much new stock every week you bring in. So we were saying, like, the saying, don't get high on your own supply. What is your kind of rules? What are your rules? Because you obviously have to try all of your stock and to together the newsletter.
I don't have to try all of it. And often some of the stock arrives, the day before. I'll write a newsletter on a Thursday afternoon. It goes out on a Friday morning, and the stock arrives anytime from Tuesday through Thursday, generally speaking. So I cannot try every single beer that comes through our doors.
It's impossible.
If I did, you wouldn't be doing this interview now. We wouldn't be here. It's just not possible. But you know, I've got a good team of staff
who like to try stuff.
You know, all of us will try stuff, and we will quite regularly, like, you know, open a can or 2 cans or whatever, and share them between 2-3 of us. You know, whoever's in, we'll share it with other people that come into the shop who we know and stuff. And there's that kind of, the whole thing is it's about trying things. And even if I don't get to try stuff, I'll get, you know, we've got a group chat obviously with the staff, and people will be like, oh, I've had this, it's great, you know, and there's that kind of like feedback loop. And you get feedback from customers as well, who do, you know, come in and they'll try something that you haven't had yet. And you get that feedback, and they'll often go, oh, do you want a little bit, kind of thing. Which is amazing, because, you know, so many people are on that same page of, everyone just wants to try and enjoy, you know, try different things and enjoy it, and, you know, try and find new styles and tastes and flavors and breweries and everything that they haven't necessarily had before. So, you know, I with the newsletter, when I talk about the beers, yes, I've tried a bunch of them. No, I haven't tried a bunch of the other ones, but you rely on, you know, with people like the Colonel and people like Baron and lots of these breweries. I've tried loads of stuff from them over the years that I've been doing this and that the breweries have been going. And you get to know what people are good at and what they excel at. And I actually quite like it if a brewery that, you know, that does, like Beak, they do loads and loads of IPAs and pale ales. They've now got a couple of lagers that they do very regularly, which are good. They do a couple of stouts, which are great when I've had them. And those are the beers where I think, oh, they're releasing a stout. I know what I'm getting with my IPAs and their pale ales with them. And they're great, and they sell really well, and I enjoy drinking them. But the stout is the one I'm going to reach for if I get 5 different beers from them in one week, because that's the one where I go, that's different. And I like to sort of, that's the kind of way I look at it, really. I'll try bits and bobs of what people might share and stuff, but I'll go for the thing that's different, or the thing I don't expect from a brewery to go, I wonder how they've, you know, what their take is on that.
It's kind of like pushing your boundaries as well. Like,
I guess so.
Just trying something which isn't kind of the norm, week in, week out. I think that's quite good.
If I just drink pale ales all day, every day, then, you know, there's a very narrow range of what you're going to get with it, you know, realistically. You can go from a West Coast to an East Coast, and then all the hop variations in between, but fundamentally it's kind of like quite a narrow range. So, you know, get your lagers in, get your sours in, try your stouts, try your lambics.
So how often do you like get new breweries in? That, like, what's your process of between finding a new brewery and then bringing it in? And do you like champion smaller breweries? Like, on how do you get your customers to buy into new breweries they've never heard of?
Well, first and foremost, it has to be a really good product, and it has to be a good, well-rounded product. You know, if somebody, we get samples, you know, every now and again, and, you know, if somebody hands over a sample and says, here, I'll try this, you know, we're this brewery, whatever, I can look at the can and go, in my head, go, this isn't going to sell before I've even opened it. Or I can look at the can and go, that looks pretty good. Let's see what it tastes like. And if the product's not up to it, then, okay, maybe come back to me in a bit when we feel like, you know, that the product's developed or something. Or if the product's no good and the branding's no good, or the product's no good and branding's great, it's not going to make it.
Yeah, and do you find those conversations difficult? Because do you kind of
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to, but I'm not perfect at this, but I try to be honest and honest in a constructive way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, there is only we've got a lot of stuff, but there is only so much space. Like, if I was to say yes to everything that came through the door, then it wouldn't be as a curated selection. People would go, oh, I don't know whether it's going to be good,
well,
you know, when I pick something new out. So we're that kind of initial filter of the product's going to be good. But also, there's only so much space. I can't do it. And people, if there's too much choice, I wouldn't have this table. Yeah, exactly.
It'd be another row of fridges in the middle.
Sam and I are really into our can design. So you do think that can design has a big impact on your decision making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we always say
Yeah.
it's 50% the beer, 50% the art.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're competing, aren't you? Like, if you want, as a brewery, if you want your beers to sell in an environment like this, pubs are different, obviously, but in an environment like this, if you want your cans or bottles or whatever to sell, you have to stand out. And that's not necessarily, as you can see with the Colonel, it's not necessarily about having the loudest design. It's about having a consistent design across your range and one that's good.
Yeah.
And eye-catching in its own way, whatever that might be, but just something that's consistent so that, you know, the consumer can go, oh, I know that that's a pressure drop beer, even though I'm too far away to spot that it says pressure drop on it, because it's consistent.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Just put a can just, quite far away.
Yeah.
Can you recognise what the brewery is?
Yeah.
And a lot of them
You can.
pass the test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, like Wiper and True, they've moved from bottles to cans, and their branding followed on very consistently.
The white can with the gold.
Exactly. Yeah, you know exactly what it is. And then, so if there is that consistency within your individual brand, and it's good in terms of the actual how it's presented, that's a big hurdle to overcome from my point of view, because I go, that's not going to take me much effort to sell it on the basis of what it looks like. The next hurdle is, what's the product like inside?
Yeah.
And as long as you can cross both of those, and I've got capacity to take on a new brand that I feel is going to sell, then I'll give it a go.
So on Over Two Cans, we're all about the stats. We
Right,
were
okay.
hoping that you could let us into a few trade secrets.
Try.
What has been, or let's take last year for an example.
Okay.
2022. What was your biggest seller, kind of brewery wise? What was flying off?
I
the
can't
shelves?
remember what order it's in, but the last time I looked at this fairly recently, Pressure Drop. We especially, I mean, they're a London brewery, so not necessarily exactly local, but relatively local to us, which always helps. Local breweries generally tend to do quite well anyway, but the product's great, and we sell a lot of Pressure Drop. It's probably our biggest seller, so I think they're at the top.
For a good reason as well.
Exactly.
They're amazing.
This stuff's always for a good reason, for sure. So Pressure Drop, Beak, really, really ramped up in the last sort of 12, 18 months. We sell a lot of Beak stuff. And then interestingly, like brands that, if you'd asked me this 18 months ago, it would be quite a different answer. I think Pressure Drop would probably still be making it in there, but brands like Daya, Cloudwater and stuff. And we do still sell a decent amount of that stuff, but the market's adjusted a bit. What people reach for is adjusted.
And who's out of the gates this year? Who's pushing it for you?
Well, I suppose this is last year actually, but Baron is probably a brewery that I think has done really well straight out of the gates.
Short space of time as well.
Yeah, relatively short space of time. I mean, they launched January last year, I think, is when they first started selling cans to bottle shops and so on. So it has been, a little over 12 months. But yeah, in terms of new breweries that stand out and have got a track record for us at least of doing quite well in terms of sales and stuff, I think Baron's up there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can do this for us because we're
go
just
on.
super curious.
I'll try.
Across both of your stores,
Yeah.
since you opened them both,
Yeah.
what do you know who your top brewery is? Over all of those years, Stuart, we're pushing you for this.
That's a good question, because like Verdant's another one that's up with our highest volume sellers at the moment, but because some of these brands didn't exist back then, or they were very different, and other brands were bigger and more established when we opened. So people like Cloudwater, they were our biggest selling brewery for a good period of time earlier on.
Yeah.
But more breweries have come along since then and have started producing beer that is as good or better.
Yeah.
Arguably, it's always arguably, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe
Can you hazard a guess?
it
just for
might
our
be
entertainment?
it might be someone like Cloudwater, because they were an established craft brewery when we opened, so they were already there.
Yeah.
There was a good period of time where they were definitely our biggest selling brewery, and we still sell, a good volume of their product, albeit not at the same level that we used to churn through it. So probably them.
Cool.
I'll check and come back to you.
Yeah. Let us know. Send us an email.
Right. I've just invented a new game.
Here we go.
Oh, we love a game on
So
it.
I've been sitting here looking around at all these beers, and I was
Okay.
thinking that you must know your stock pretty well. So you must know where
Here's the
you must
test.
know where everything is in the fridges.
Yeah.
Right? So I've written down 5 breweries or beers,
Am I against the clock?
and you've got 30 seconds.
I'm going to set a timer.
You've got 30 seconds.
Here we go.
You're not allowed to get up. You've got to stay where you are.
And you can't.
I'm getting ready.
Keep your eyes forward.
At all
So I
times.
just want you to point at a general direction.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Wait a sec. Is it in alphabetical order?
No. I already
And
know
also,
that it's not.
and also things get moved around over the weekend.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
3,
So from when I say the first one,
Go on.
30
you then got to
seconds.
start it.
And he's
Okay.
got 5 to locate.
You've got 5 to locate.
Okay.
So there's 3, I think, specific beers, and there's 2 just breweries in general. Okay.
I'll see if I can get them.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hop City Northern Monk.
He's getting up. He's getting up. He's getting them.
Any Wylam beer.
I was wondering why you were being so quiet over there.
Mondo. I like that I've done it. You have to keep switching sides.
18-second mark.
Karma Cola. Yeah, next. A beer called Greenstone.
Oh, that's it.
Quickly. 2 seconds. Oh, we did it! 29.82. Gosh, Stuart. Smashed it, mate.
Well done.
What a great
I like this
game. Should we play a game? So, Stuart, for anyone who is watching this and doesn't know where the Colonel is, could you please let them know where they can find him?
Bermondsey.
The Colonel, yeah?
Yeah.
The Bermondsey Beer Mile?
Bermondsey Beer Mile.
Yeah. And
They,
their gaff is called like Arch 12 or something like that?
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just whatever number it is. But yeah, Bermondsey Beer Mile. They are at the end of the row where you've got Moore and Cloudwater and Beer Junction and until recently Brew by Numbers.
Nice.
So they're at the end of that row. But yeah, it's a great tap room.
Cool. And do you know what year they started out, Colonel?
Oh no, that's a good test. I
'Cause
don't.
they- I think
I
they're-
don't. It was before we were here.
They are. Am I? Correct me if I'm wrong. They're the original craft brewery in London, right?
I'm not going to try and correct you.
I've
No,
heard
well,
that.
no, I don't. Probably not, because some, like they might be the original that are still independent.
Yeah.
But people like Meantime and stuff,
Right.
they've been there for a long time. But
So the original
Camden and stuff.
independent London brewery.
Official.
Still going. Official.
Over 2 cans approved.
You heard it here first.
let's say yes. Let's say yes.
Right. We need to move on to beer number 2.
See, he's
Okay.
very strict with his timings.
Have you seen how long we've been going for?
All right.
Well
Come on then.
Right, Stuart,
All right.
you could introduce the beer in full to the best of your ability, please.
All right. So, well, I've already mentioned Baron. They're my favourite new brewery for sure.
Where can you find Baron?
On a farm in the middle of nowhere outside of, not far from Cambridge. Stop on the train before Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah, not far from Cambridge. But little farm in the middle of the countryside. You need a car to get there. There's
Right.
no public transport getting there.
So you can only have 1 beer then.
So you need a designated driver
God,
who's
sounds awful.
very kind.
We won't be going there.
Poor that guy.
But he has just opened a tap room at the brewery, and it's lovely. Yeah, they were very kind actually, and hosted us and a few other businesses like us
Cool.
to sort of say thanks for our support. But yeah, it was great.
What's the beer called, Stuart?
So this is Growing Concerns. It's a red double IPA. So red ales, red IPAs, in my opinion, massively underrated style. They're not cool, which is why you don't see them very often. But I think they're great. So they're made with some rye malts, which give you a bit more of a like sort of biscuity, peppery kind of thing. And obviously the beer is a bit sort of more red in colour.
And I think this is another first for the channel.
Oh, the red ale.
We haven't had a red. No. I don't think we've done a red ale on the channel before. So.
Well, I'll be honest, this one's picked out sort of out of necessity because it's either this or a 10% Imperial Stout. Because we sold the rest of their beers,
And
as I found out this morning.
What is the ABV on this one?
8.5, I think.
8.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, 8.5.
Oh,
All right.
can we just? Should we just stop filming for a sec?
I can't drink 8.5% beers.
Well, you actually can't.
No. I know it's a weird thing, but I just can't.
I didn't realise it was 8.5. It's like a superstitious thing.
Really?
Yeah. For real. Damn.
Wow.
Oh, we should have checked that before we started filming.
Does anyone know that?
No, not really.
Not on the channel.
You heard it here first, folks.
No, but you won't drink that, will you?
No, I can't. You guys can just drink
Nice
without
beer.
me if you want. Or should we get another beer?
This interview is going to be cut in half if we don't.
No, it's just.
Could you swap the beer? Could we just put this to one side and we'll drink it after, Stuart?
That's absolutely fine.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
And then just choose another beer. It can be anything you want. We'll cut all of this out.
What should we do? No, I do want to do Baron.
You want to do Baron?
Yeah.
But you haven't. Have you got another beer?
I've got the stout.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry about that, Stuart.
What's a superstitious thing?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Well, it's the numbers 8 and 5 is. Soon.
They add up to 13 though. They just don't like it.
Is this 13%?
I don't drink 10% beers.
I'm looking. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to the outtakes.
The face on it was so good. I fucking love that. I was like, he's gonna be like, shut the fuck up and drink
Who
it.
the fuck are these guys running a craft beer channel?
Oh my god, that was great. I fucking loved it. we literally vibe off of people's reactions. We love it.
Which
So-
bit's true?
None of
it. We're
Cheers.
drinking this beer. He was like, I'm fucking doing Baron. And that's the end of it.
Cheers. So sorry.
You didn't warn me you're going to be arseholes.
If you had watched all of our videos, we like to do a prank in
I definitely
every interview we do. And we were scrambling like motherfuckers this morning. We were like, what do we do with Stuart? And we devised this little prank in the Uber on the way over.
Well, that'll teach me not to do my research.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, cheers.
Sorry about that.
That was good.
I
That was
kept
good.
looking over at Alex and he was just laughing. And I was like, Stuart's going to be like, why are you laughing? This isn't funny.
He didn't even look at me. It was like,
No.
He was like, I can't look at this guy. It's unbelievable.
What a diva.
Yeah.
I've probably heard weirder things here.
Yeah.
I actually think that was probably one of the best pranks we've
I think that worked pretty well.
We thought about it on the morning. Sometimes we plan it for weeks
Yeah.
and we were just like, we don't know what to do with Stuart.
I'm a very accommodating man.
You really are. So hats off to you for that.
I genuinely thought, at one point, I thought you were going to be like, fuck off. Get out of my bottle shop. In the style of Peggy Mitchell.
God.
God, you can really taste the 0.5, can't you? It's right there.
8.4 would have been fine.
Let's put that back. Where's it go, Stuart?
On the shelf,
On
mate.
the shelf on your left.
Left.
Oh, here.
Down.
Down. There.
No, next to the other one.
Next to the other one.
There you are, mate. Nailed it.
Where do we pick up?
What do you think of this?
It's
It
really
is really
nice.
nice,
It's
yeah.
good, isn't
Really
it?
nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pick
That's-
up from here.
Well, that's why I picked it, because it's like, well, A, it's Baron, and I wanted to talk about them and showcase them as a new brewery as opposed to one, new brewery with a very, well-defined bit of artwork and consistent brand throughout versus an old school brewery, as it were, with the opposite end of spectrum with artwork.
He's
But
been thinking about it.
But it's and also it's a bit of a unique style as well, and that's partly why I like Baron as well, is that they haven't just come out the gates going, right, we're just going to do IPAs or pale ales, and they do those, and they're really good. But
I've had many.
They've done some lagers already, which is quite a big feat for a small brewery because it takes up time and space and so on. And they're not afraid to do stuff like this, which is a bit more niche in terms of approachability.
Yeah, I always applaud it when breweries come out with kind of weird and wacky styles and styles which the public don't tend to. It's their go-to.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
push the boundaries.
Yeah,
do it. It's quite sweet as well.
Yeah, it has got a little bit of sweetness, but I think that's less about the rye malt necessarily and more that it's a double IPA basically, and it will carry a bit more residual.
It doesn't taste like the ABV's like 8.5, does it? It's quite
it's more 8.6.
Yeah. But I was going to say that about. I was going to say that about the table beer as well. It doesn't drink like a 3.1. It definitely drinks high. I think it tastes more.
But that's why I love the table beer. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's just a good go-to.
I like it when that happens.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. When you're working, do you drink normally, or do you tend to lay off?
I tend to lay off.
Yeah,
I tend, I'll try little bits here and there, but
apart from the
generally I tend to lay off.
Apart from the first time I ever met you, Stuart, I came in and he was like, "Try some of this, try some of that," and I was like, "Right, I'm coming back."
I'll have a night off every now and again.
You in, didn't he?
You had some friends. You had some friends there, and you were very friendly.
Yeah. I probably wasn't working then.
Welcomed me into the conversation, and you were like, "Yeah,
well,
that's
what it's all about, isn't it? It's just if you're feeling in a generous mood, just sharing stuff out and getting everyone to try some.
Yeah, I like that. It's good. Right, let's talk about events.
All right, yeah.
Which this is something I think sets you aside from other bottle shops in and around the area, probably the whole of London, really. You do events.
We do. And
tell us about your events and kind of some of the ones you've done in the past, some of the ones you've got coming up.
No worries. I mean, I don't want to suggest that other places don't do events. They do, but obviously we do very good ones. So, yeah, I mean, we have done and continue to do quite a lot of events, from Meet the Brewer Nights, where you can come down and we'll showcase a brewery and have the brewers here, and they can talk about their beers, and people get to try various different beers of theirs, and it's a bit of a showcase evening. We've got one with Duration coming up, or just in the past, depending on when you get this out. And we've got a similar one with Yonder coming up as well. So yeah, great. Well, both great breweries. So yeah, very keen to get those guys in.
Have you done Meet the Brewer before?
Yeah.
This? Okay.
Yeah.
How many have you done before?
Loads over the years. Yeah, loads.
And how do you select? Because I know you do some in here, you do some at Putney. How do you select which store's going to host it?
I try to balance it out. To be honest, if there's a brewery that sells particularly well in one store versus the other, then it'll probably go over there.
Clever.
But generally the sales are relatively balanced out between the two stores. We don't really find that a brewery sells amazingly in one store and not at all in the other, But yeah, so we'll do nights like that. We have done in the past. I'm working on trying to pick this up again now that we're well out of the other side of lockdown and all that sort of stuff. We've done a lot of food pairing nights, which is a big reason that kind of got into this in the first place. Is you could go to lots of places and there'd always be wine pairing options on menus, or just psychologically, like food and wine is always something that people put together. But the variety of styles and products that you can get in this world is equally, if not more, varied and appropriate for various different foods as well. So yeah, we've done quite a few food pairing nights, from oyster nights, full menus from local restaurants, guest chefs, as it were, coming in. So we've done a bunch of those and looking to try and start to pick that back up as well.
That's cool.
And then we do stupid stuff like have pinata parties
Yeah.
with people like Verdant. Where you just give everyone party hats and loads of Verdant beer.
So
and
I
swing at
unknowingly-
pinatas.
I unknowingly
Statements.
walked into this store when this was going on, and everyone was wearing hats, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And
Plenty of Haribo around.
yeah. So
it was great.
What was in the pinata?
All sorts, not glassware.
This pinata's full of beer.
A lot of sweets, stickers,
Yeah.
Badges.
And did you
all
have
sorts.
anyone from Verdant here whilst it was going on?
Yeah,
or was it-
Joe was here from Verdant.
Nice.
Joseph was here. So yeah, it was good fun actually. It was good. It was really lovely to do an event that was, I don't know, just something a bit different, a little bit less formal. You know, something that's a bit more relaxed. The guys are here from the brewery if you want to chat to them. Load of their beers are on tap. Something a bit fun and stupid.
Right, Alex has got some more stats for you.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we like to ask all of our guests about their Instagram accounts. Because I feel like Instagram's, probably your number one social media with, visuals, bottles, whatever.
Yeah, I've got 1,000 potential questions that's gonna come out of your mouth.
This isn't easy. This is easy. So obviously we're called Over Two Cans.
Yeah.
We're called not Over Two Cans today. What we like to do, we like to scroll to the very bottom of your Instagram feed. You had over 2,000 photos on your Instagram, so it took me literally
it was
ages.
like 10 minutes.
It took me 10 minutes to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's too much, isn't it?
There's a lot. So if you can
I might quit.
delete something.
Yeah. There's a lot
I
of them.
eventually got to the bottom, and we found the first picture that you put up on Instagram that contained a can in it.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually
How
two-
far did you have to scroll up?
Well, that's another question.
Okay, sorry.
We're all about stats on this show. So I'm not just going to give you the answer.
There were 2 cans in this image, 2 different beers.
Can you tell me who the brewery was on either can? I mean, you definitely can't, I'd imagine, but you'd be doing well. And also, I'll give you a clue. The photo wasn't taken in the shop.
Yeah.
It was taken somewhere in Brixton. So for bonus points, where was the photo taken?
What does he win if he gets it right?
Any beer from these fridges.
Oh, thank you very much.
Not 8.5%.
No.
That's a really hard question.
I mean, considering you have over 2,000 photos as well, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We like to test people's knowledge.
What went into can early?
So the clues are that the photo wasn't taken here. It was at another establishment in Brixton. So they probably weren't actually your cans.
Yeah.
This is really hard.
I mean, I don't think you're going to get it.
We
No,
like
we're just
asking
gonna-
tricky questions.
So
What was the establishment? Do you know?
Yeah, of course I know. That's the answer for you.
Tell
I don't know if they had.
Tell Stuart the establishment.
Okay, so I'll tell you what it was. It was Meat Liquor in Brixton in the market.
Oh my god! I forgot that even existed.
Is it still there?
No, absolutely not.
gone.
That's long gone.
So there are
they got very big.
two cans.
I'm not going to be able to answer it.
No.
I really don't know.
One of them was a Magic Rock,
Oh, okay.
High Wire,
Yeah.
Grapefruit.
Oh, okay. So maybe the other one was
Be good if you get this.
Four Pures. What was it called? It began with an S. They had a session IPA.
No.
Oh, more. Oh, okay.
This was your first ever can photo. But don't look at all the other
on
answers.
Ghostwell, first ever photo with some cans in.
And what year, month, and day was it? I haven't got the time. I didn't save the time.
All right. 2016.
Correct.
Let's say July.
Earlier.
Oh, June.
Earlier.
January.
Later.
March.
A bit later.
Oh, jeez.
It was April 2016, the 13th of April 2016.
So
And-
just before you open this bad boy,
Yeah.
a few months.
Yeah. Well, we sorted out the. We incorporated the business in January. Obviously, we didn't have a business then, but we incorporated the business in January and then started to do the work. So, you know.
Right,
See if we're getting anywhere.
Stuart, we're going to round off this interview now.
Yeah.
With a final few bits
All right.
and bobs. So we learnt this morning that you celebrated an anniversary this weekend on Saturday, and we were sad to hear about it. Do you know what anniversary we're talking about?
It was a.
No,
you know,
I feel like I'm in trouble here.
it's like the death of a pet sort of anniversary.
It was the death of something.
I don't know. No.
Go on, spill it.
It was 1 year ago on the 20th of May that you posted your last blog post on your website.
Yeah.
The blog has died.
He's moved over to newsletter now.
Yeah.
He's moved over to Instagram.
Blogs are hard, man.
newsletter.
They
Yeah.
take so much. I'm not really a writer.
No, because when we do research for our interviews, we pretty much depend on the blog post to let us know what's going on. But it's all right.
You have to stick to newsletters.
we-
Sorry.
How come you've chosen then to just do newsletters over blog? Just so you can capture email data?
Just time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can just...
Time and energy.
You
Well,
could
no,
set
because
up
but newsletters are like that's very current affair. It's literally
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, but you can
in
still
this
go on the
world.
blog. BBC put blog posts out every minute.
They got any spare capacity to help me out?
Are you supporting the revival of the blog post for Ghostwhale?
Yeah.
I think we need to bring
You
it
want
back.
it back?
I would like to
Alex
do it,
feels
but
very strongly about this.
doing blog posts and stuff is it just takes a lot of
How many people
time
you've
and
got working for
energy.
you? Get one of them to do it.
You heard it here first.
chuck them an extra $5. Get
Yeah.
them to do the blog post.
No, you just got to put the newsletter out a couple of days later onto the blog and just say, get it 2
did.
days early when you sign up to the newsletter.
Have you got a side hustle? It's like an
Yeah,
SEO company, and you're like, right, here's your pitch.
We work for MailChimp.
Okay.
Get an invoice at the end of this.
Final question, and this is going to be the most difficult question you're going to answer today.
Yes.
And we're talking about all of those questions out there, all of the questions sitting down here. It's going to be a tough one. You ready?
Born ready.
Someone has turned on all the taps in here
Yeah.
and in your Putney store. There is no one around to help you. You are at the midpoint between both stores. Which one are you saving? I imagine it's like trying to choose your favourite child.
Yeah, but this is my first child, isn't it?
And we're both first childs.
And this is a lot closer to where I live as well.
No, but you're at the midpoint between both stores.
Yeah, but from here I can walk home, can't I?
Lazy.
So you're
Lazy.
you're happy for the
Whatever's the
demise-
most convenient.
You're happy for the demise of the Putney store.
I wouldn't describe it as happy.
Devastated, but it's,
Yeah.
best of a bad situation.
Right, Stuart, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having us today.
Thanks very much.
We really appreciate it.
I've really enjoyed it.
Let's go play some more Toads.
Yeah, let's
More
go play some
toads.
more toads.
So this one's Growing Pains. This is a red double IPA.
Start that again. Growing concerns.
Oh, it is Growing Concerns, isn't it?
It's all good.
Beer names don't matter, do they?
No, not at all.